All right, what up, y'all? It's your boy DJ Tariq. I'm here in the Boardroom Studios, located in the Bronx Collective Creative Space. I'm here with my boy March.
314.
So here in the studio, you get a lot of clients doing what? Hip hop, R&B. What clients you get more?
Mainly hip hop.
Mm-hmm. And what has been your experience with some of the newer artists that come in here?
Are you asking the good experiences or like?
All experiences, good and bad.
I think the good ones are those that will come in prepared, like ready to work, ready to, have their lyrics already down pat, memorized, and ready to lay it down. Those are always the best sessions for me. So,
in a ratio of the guys who come and they rhyming off their phone or they rhyming off a book or they're reading, what is the success rate, do you think?
Well, at the end, it's always a success.
Mm-hmm.
Because the goal is to get the record done, whether they're reading or not. It just take longer.
No, here's the question I'm asking. When I say success rate, yes, the record is done, but is it done as well as it could have been if they knew the lyrics?
Yes. And I say that because we're just going to keep going until we get it right. But in terms of time, it's not great for time. So if I book a session from 4 to 8 and I have an 8:30 coming in and someone is still reading off their phone, chances are we might not get that song done. Because most of the times what happens with people reading still is that it sounds like you're reading. And delivery is very important when it comes to the music.
I think that in my experience, when I was an engineer for many years, that I think that you will never get the same performance as if you learn lyrics. Of very few, like Supreme could do it, and there was a few other artists that could do it, reading. You couldn't tell they were reading. But most artists, you can tell they're reading. So if your goal is to be successful in the music business and you want to have a hit record, you need to put the feeling on the record. And how can you do it if you're reading?
Right. And this is a successful, what I would call a successful session, because some people are real great at reading. They may write it down and they're just so professional at being an artist that they can read it and get it out the way. And I think that comes with the artists that are original. You know what I mean? But if you're an artist that is following the trend and you're still reading your lyrics, you got two issues going on with you in the booth at the same time. You're trying to sound like this and you're reading at the same time.
So it's sterile.
So yeah. So it's hard.
I prefer that. I used to tell artists to come back tomorrow. Go home, learn your lyrics tonight, come back tomorrow or the next day. Yeah. I couldn't deal with listening to you make mistakes for an hour trying to get it right.
Well, that's the nature of the business when you get into being an engineer. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm working for the artist. I'm here to. Yeah,
I'm talking more about artists that I was dealing with personally. I wouldn't let them do it. If I'm just charging you $25 to $30, $50 an hour, whatever it is, that's what you want to do with your money, then that's what you want to do.
Yeah. Gotcha.
So, you used to be a lyricist.
Yeah.
What are you seeing that artists are doing or not doing in their writing that is hindering them?
Studying it. Back to memorizing. When I was writing, the way I was taught, I was developed by Phil, and at that time we didn't have our own studio, and at that time we was paying like $80 to $150 an hour just to get in the studio, and Phil would refuse to book a session if I didn't memorize my lyrics. We'd have the money ready to go, and he'd be like, "But is the lyrics ready?"
That's right.
Because you got to go in there and knock it out. We spending money, and I think that with studio time not being as expensive as it used to be, people nowadays are, you know, some of these guys out here, they got a lot of money and they want to spend the money, and they don't mind using the time. You know.
So as far as outside of business, as far as for hip hop, do you think it's good or bad?
To read?
Yeah, that people are not really taking the time to learn the lyrics. They're just coming in the studio. And
Man, I think that at the end of the day, as long as you come out with a great song, it don't matter. It's just a harder job, the recording process, the time that it takes to make this record. You know, it could get a bit frustrating when you have to deal with those things. You know, the average consumer listen to a 2.5 minute song and don't know that it might have taken 4 or 5 hours to record it, and then another 5-6 hours to mix it,
and then master it,
and then mastering it. You know, so there's a process in this.
All right. So you do a lot of recording here. Do you like to do mixes for other people?
Yeah, actually, that's what I'm more gearing towards, is mixing. I'm trying to get out of the recording sessions and just strictly focus on mixing.
Nice. And we're going to put the rates up, but what's the normal rate here at the studio?
$55 an hour.
$55 an hour.
Yeah.
So come through to the Boardroom Studios right here in the Bronx Collective Creative Space. My name is DJ Tariq. It's my boy March 314.
Yes, sir.
Right here in the Bronx. Check out Recognize TV, watch F.A.M.E Academy, and we're going to come back next week with another one.
And follow us at the Boardroom _BXC. At the Boardroom _BXC.
Yeah, all of that will be in the information. And like, follow, comment. Peace.
Peace.